1954 saw the rise of two kings. The king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, made his debut, along with the king of the monsters, which also debuted too. His name is
Godzilla.
The original idea for Godzilla came as a consequence of the atomic age lived in the 1950s. Hydrogen bombs were tested in non-populated areas such as the Bikini Atoll islands in the Pacific. As a result of these testings, the Lucky Dragon No. 5, a tuna boat, was contaminated due to the fallout of the bombs as shown in this picture. Hollywood provided inspiration for Godzilla as well. After seeing King Kong, Toho Studios was on a quest to make its own giant monster movie, though it did not want to make stop motion like the 1933 film. So in 1953, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms was released, and Toho was inspired to follow the same footsteps. Giant monster, small prop-sized cities.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, historical events and Hollywood helped create a pop icon known as Godzilla. Now, let's move on to interesting fact number 2, which is
Godzilla is a combination of gorilla and whale in Japanese. In Japanese, the word for gorilla is gorilla, and the word for whale is kuchira. Toho Studios managed to take away the ira in gorilla and keep the jira from kuchira to create Godzilla. Once the right to Godzilla was bought by Trans World Release, an independent production and distribution company, thought Godzilla needed to sound more Americanized, and so translated Godzilla to Godzilla, a godlike lizard monster unstoppable and wrecking Tokyo.
this is actually a whale carcass, which we learned in Japanese is kuchira. This is one of the inspirations for the name Godzilla. Now let's move on to fact number 3.
Originally, Godzilla's head was shaped that of a mushroom, making a reference to the atomic bomb mushroom cloud over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The body was similar look to the Kraken in the Greek mythology, but viewed as difficult to operate during production. Finally, it was decided that the look for Godzilla would be modeled after 3 dinosaurs: a Tyrannosaurus rex, an iguanodon, a stegosaurus. The T-Rex mouth and wrath was its main concept. The iguanodon's long arms were used to give Godzilla flexibility to grab boats from the sea and destroy buildings. Producers took from the stegosaurus the spines to give Godzilla a crown-like look, hence the name King of the Monsters.
So dinosaurs shape Godzilla and help bring him to life. Now let's move on to interesting fact number 4.
It takes a village to make any type of movie, and Godzilla had his village. The producer of the film was Tomoyuki Tanaka. He was in charge of organizing this grand project. Ishiro Honda was the heart and soul of the movie. This was his passion project. He directed the film and allowed us to get a glimpse of what a terrifying monster attack would look like if this was a real event. Eiji Tsuburaya was the main special effects director, in charge of blowing up scenes and creative rights to all special effects shots of the film. Akira Ifukube is the main composer. He's considered the John Williams of Japan. His musical score gave this film a completely different perspective. And of course, we cannot forget Naruo Nakajima, one of the men who wore the 200-plus Godzilla-sized suit. He went on to star in all 15 original Godzilla movies.
Majority of Godzilla 1954 was shot in low-angle shots, making Godzilla look bigger than the small prop buildings. As you can see, the camera is right now low-angle, so it can make me taller than that white truck. And that is how 1954 was filmed. Now let's go and check the 5th and final interesting fact of Godzilla 1954.
There are two versions to Gojira. The original Japanese film featured a dramatic love triangle between the movie's main protagonist, Ogata, who falls in love with Emiko, who at the time is betrothed by Dr. Serizawa, the movie scientist responsible for the destruction of Godzilla. Women also played an important role in the film. The woman in the white suit, represented by humanity, is requesting that Godzilla be made public at the behest of the Japanese government, which wants to cover up Godzilla. The second lady, holding the children, utters a very famous quote, "We will be where Daddy is soon," implying that they will see the death at the hands of Godzilla. The finale of Godzilla is a memorable one, as the scientist Dr. Serizawa commits suicide by dying with the ultimate weapon he created, the oxygen destroyer. He feared the weapon would be reproduced and used as future bomb against humanity. Therefore, decides to die along with Godzilla so that nobody can ever create the same bomb ever again. The American version of Gojira was renamed Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and deleted all the previous scenes discussed. Hollywood actor Raymond Burr portrayed the role of Steve Martin, a newspaper reporter who narrates the destruction of Godzilla.
So there you have it, folks. Two versions of the same movie. One American version, which added Steve Burr, and the second, a Japanese uncut version of a movie based off the Japanese expression and feelings of World War II. And that pretty much wraps it up for the 5 interesting facts of Godzilla 1954. Up next will be the 5 interesting facts of Godzilla Raids Again, the sequel to Godzilla 1954. Thank you so much for taking the time and viewing our reviews. We hope to see you in the next movie review.